welcome all of you for today's Srimad. Let us begin with prayers. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 7, entitled The Son of Drona Punished. Text 42. तथा हृतं पशुवत्पाशबद्धम् अवान्मुखं कर्मजुगुप्सितेन निरीक्ष्य कृष्णापकृतं गुरोः सुतं वामस्वभावा कृपया ननाम च. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Vishwaguru Abhay Charanaраvinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation. Sri Suta Goswami said, Draupadi then saw Ashwathama, who was bound with ropes like an animal and silent for having enacted the most inglorious murder. Due to her female nature and due to her being naturally good and well behaved, she showed him due respects as a brāhmaṇa. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Ashwathama was condemned by the Lord himself, and he was treated by Arjuna just like a culprit, not like the son of a brāhmana or teacher. But when he was brought before Srimati Draupadi, she, although begrieved for the murder of her sons, and although the murderer was present before her, could not withdraw the due respect generally offered to a brāhmana or to the son of a brāhmana. This is due to her mild nature as a woman. Women as a class are no better than boys, and therefore they have no discriminatory power like that of a man. Ashwathama proved himself to be an unworthy son of Dronacharya or of a Brahmana, and for this reason he was condemned by the greatest authority, Lord Sri Krishna, and yet a mild woman could not withdraw her natural courtesy for a Brahmana. Even to date, in a Hindu family, a woman shows proper respect to the Brahmana caste, however fallen and heinous a Brahmabandhu may be. But the men have begun to protest against Brahmabandhus who are born in families of good Brahmanas, but by action are less than Shudras. The specific words used in this shloka are Vamasvabhava, mild and gentle by nature. A good man or woman accepts anything very easily, but a man of average intelligence does not do so. But anyway, we should not give up our reason and discriminatory power just to be gentle. One must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit. We should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. Ashwathama may be respected by a good natured woman, but that does not mean that he is as good as a genuine Brahmana. Thus ends the Bhakti Vedanta purport. So Arjuna has brought Ashwathama bound with ropes in front of Draupadi. In the previous few verses, we have seen how Krishna spoke to Arjuna, telling him that Ashwathama has done a heinous act by killing the sleeping sons, and therefore no mercy should be shown towards him, and he should at once be killed. But Arjuna somehow did not want to kill Ashwathama. Therefore, he brought Ashwathama bound with ropes in front of Draupadi. And Draupadi at that time was in a grief stricken condition. She was actually mourning, lamenting for the death of her innocent children. So, what happened when Ashwathama was brought in front of Draupadi? That is what is mentioned in this shloka. Tatha ahritam. Tatha means thus. Ahritam brought in. Pashuvat, just like an animal. Pashabadham, tied with ropes. So Ashwathama was tied with ropes just like an animal, and he was brought in front of Draupadi. Avan mukham karma jugupsitena. Avan mukham, vak means words. Avak means without speaking anything, speechless, without a word in his mouth. Ashwathama had nothing to speak because he himself accepted that what he did is not acceptable. He himself was feeling guilty. Therefore, he was not speaking anything. Therefore, avan mukham. A person, when he himself understands that what I have done is wrong, then he will not speak up to justify his acts. He becomes dumb. He stands speechless. That was the condition of Ashwathama. That means Ashwathama very well knew that what he did was not correct by killing the Upapandavas, the sons of Draupadi, who were all sleeping in the night. So he was avan mukham. He had nothing to speak. Karma jugupsitena. Karma means his activities. Jugupsitena, being heinous, condemnable. Jugupsitena means his activities were condemnable, and he himself had realized it by this time. Therefore, he was avan mukham. He did not speak anything. Nirikshya Krishnapakrutam Guro Sutam. Nirikshya. So Draupadi, what did she do? Nirikshya. She saw Ashwathama standing like that, being bound up with ropes, and he was ashamed of his activities, and he was standing there speechless. All this was seen by Krishna. Krishna refers to Draupadi. This is one more name of Draupadi. So Krishna is masculine gender. Krishna, when it is Dirgha, it is feminine gender. So Krishna refers to Draupadi because of her intimate relationship with Krishna. Krishna had accepted Draupadi as his own sister. Therefore, and she was also a pure devotee of Lord Krishna. Because of her intimate relationship with Krishna as a devotee, she is often referred to as Krishna. Arjuna is also referred to as Krishna because of his intimate friendship with Lord Krishna. So, in the entire Mahabharata, there are four Krishnas, as I had mentioned before also. The Lord who appeared as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki, he is definitely the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Apart from him, his expansion, Shakthyavesha Avatara, precisely, Vyasadeva. He is also referred to as Krishna. Krishna Dvaipayana Vyasa is his full name. And apart from these two personalities, Arjuna and Draupadi are also referred by this name. So here Krishna refers to Draupadi. Nirikshya Krishna apakrutam guroho sutam. Apakrutam means he has done an apachara. He has done a very degrading thing. He is the doer of a degrading thing. Therefore, he is called apakrutam. Guru sutam. But he is the son of Guru Dronacharya, the teacher of the Pandavas. Vama Swabhava. Vama means good natured, mild in behavior. Vama, here Prabhupada is translating in synonyms as beautiful. Vama, beautiful. Swabhava, nature. Kripaya nanamacha. Kripaya, out of compassion. Nanama, offered obeisances. So Draupadi, even though she was actually sitting there and crying in front of the dead bodies of her sons, when she saw Ashwathama, the culprit who has actually murdered her sons, instead of becoming angry at him, Draupadi, she was overcome by compassion. She remembered Dronacharya and she offered obeisances to the son of the Brahmana. And here it is mentioned, why did she do this? It is because of Vamasvabhava, because of the mild and gentle behavior, the mild and gentle nature of Draupadi. She did this. Nanama, she offered obeisances. She bowed down in front of Ashwathama. Now, this is very unusual, isn't it? Huh? Many times we hear how Draupadi, she was the one who was reminding the Pandavas during the Vanavasa and Ajñatavasa that they have to not forget the humiliation that she had to face because of Duryodhana and party. She was constantly reminding Bhimasena of his vow that he had taken, that he will break the thigh of Duryodhana, of Dushasana, Duryodhana's thigh, and he had also taken a vow to bring the blood from the chest of Dushasana to wash the hair of Draupadi. So in the Mahabharata, if you study, Draupadi, she is the one who was constantly reminding the Pandavas that they have to avenge the humiliation that she had to face by killing the Kauravas. But now the same Draupadi, here we are seeing that she is described as Vamasvabhava. Her nature is mild and gentle. How do we understand this? Hmm? So Prabhupada explains in the purport, very interesting point. Women as a class are no better than boys, and therefore they have no discriminatory power like that of a man. Now, this is very interesting. It's not that Prabhupada is trying to degrade, show women in a bad light. That is not the intention here. The meaning of this statement is women are generally overcome by sentiments and emotions very easily, more easily than men. Of course, there may be exceptions for this. There may be men who are also very emotional. There may be women who are more discriminating, who are more intellectual in their approach. But generally, as a class, if you see, men are generally intellectual. They act through intelligence. They discriminate things without being attached to people or situations. Whereas women, they easily become attached to people. This is called Vamasvabhava. Hmm? So women, sometimes they become very emotional, and when that emotions become uncontrolled, there are instances where there are men who misuse and exploit this nature of women. That is why in the Indian culture, in the Manusmriti, it is said that women should always be given protection. Why they should be given protection? Because women are more prone to become exploited because of their vamasvabhava, because of their too much being emotional in nature. So here Draupadi, until Ashwathama came in front of her, Draupadi was lamenting for her sons. She wanted to actually take revenge against the culprit. But as soon as she saw Ashwathama being bound with ropes like an animal, and she immediately remembered, Arey, this person, he is the son of Guru Dronacharya, and he must be given respects. You see how it is? All this while she was very angry. Who is that person who has caused the death of my children? She was lamenting. She wanted to take revenge. And Arjuna had actually promised Draupadi that I will bring the head of that murderer, and you should stand on the head of that murderer and take your bath to purify yourself after the final rites of our children. Like this, Arjuna had told, and he had gone along with Krishna to find out the murderer. But now, the same Draupadi, she became Kripaya. She became overpowered by compassion. She became, uh, she, she had a soft corner for Ashwathama because he is the son of our Guru Sutam. Kripaya Jugupsitena. Kripaya. So she became very compassionate. So this is the meaning of Vamaswabhava. Mild and gentle behavior and predominated by emotions. So Prabhupada mentions in the purport a very interesting point. You know, uh, Prabhupada says, Ashwathama proved himself to be an unworthy son of Dronacharya or of a Brahmana, and for this reason he was condemned by the greatest authority, Lord Sri Krishna. So Krishna himself condemned Ashwathama. We have seen this in the previous few verses. Yet a mild woman, Draupadi, could not withdraw her natural courtesy for a Brahmana. You see. So she could not actually uh, think of punishing Ashwathama. In fact, she was very upset to see that Ashwathama was bound with ropes. So Prabhupada says, even to date, in a Hindu family, a woman shows proper respect to the Brahmana caste, however fallen and heinous a Brahma Bandhu may be. This we have seen also. Women, once they have a particular stand of respect for somebody, they continue to show that respect to those people, immaterial of who they are. So it is not easy for them psychologically to to stop showing respect even after finding out that they have done a heinous act. Generally, it is a general understanding. So Prabhupada is saying a good man or woman accepts anything very easily, but a man of average intelligence does not do so. So, how these emotions play with our discriminatory power. There are ample examples for this. One example that we can see is about Dhritarashtra. Dhritarashtra, he was not only physically blind, but he had also lost his power to discriminate between what is right and what is wrong. Being the king, he must have had this ability to understand that his sons were actually on the path of adharma. Supporting Duryodhana will simply cause a big disaster. Dhritarashtra should have understood this. In spite of being counseled by Such intelligent people like Vidura, Dhritarashtra could not actually give up his unbecoming affection towards his son Duryodhana. This was the biggest reason for the battle of Kurukshetra to take place. When the king loses power to discriminate, just because my son, he is my son, how can I go against him? Hmm? What I could not achieve being a blind king, my son should achieve by hook or crook. This was the philosophy of Dhritarashtra. And all this he did because he was overly affectionate towards his son. So, emotions and affections do have a place in our life, but when these emotions blind us, when these emotions and sentiments do not allow us to understand what is right and what is wrong, then that becomes a biggest uh, handicap situation for us, for any person for that matter. Vidura advised, Dhritarashtra did not take his advice. In fact, Lord Krishna himself came before the battle of Kurukshetra and spoke in such pleasing words to Dhritarashtra. In fact, in the Mahabharata, this Sri Krishna Sandhana means his ambassadorship. Krishna became the peace messenger. He came as an ambassador of peace on behalf of the Pandavas. And this is a very important episode in the Mahabharata, very described in great detail by Vyasadeva. So Lord Krishna literally begs Dhritarashtra not to uh, listen to Duryodhana in front of the entire assembly. He begs, Krishna, literally, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, pleads with Dhritarashtra. Please don't let the future of Hastinapura uh, uh, get destroyed because of the adamant behavior of your childish son, Duryodhana, who is overcome by greed. Please don't do this. Krishna literally pleads. But Dhritarashtra says, see, uh, actually, uh, what do you say about this Duryodhana? Like that, he asks Duryodhana. That means, what happened to all those words that he heard previous night from from Vidura, and presently what he heard from Krishna? All of that he kept aside and he consulted with his son Duryodhana. You see, to what extent a person can become handicapped when he is overpowered by unnecessary affection. For this, if you study the character of Dhritarashtra, you will understand. So, emotions do have a place, but emotions must be balanced with intelligence. Intelligence is higher than mind. So, intelligence has to be sharp. Okay, if we don't have intelligence, at least we must have the patience to hear from those who are sources of knowledge. Okay, I don't have intelligence. Let me consult with the right authorities and take decision. Let me not take decisions being overpowered by these sentiments. So this is the thinking of a uh, good person. In fact, the king, that is why the king is always assisted by ministers, mantri. Mantri means one who gives mantrana. Mantrana means he gives advice. And according to Manusmriti, a king must have at least 8 ministers, not just one or two, 8 ministers. And all these ministers must timely update the king about the happenings and they should give the right advice to the king so that the king can actually take right decisions without being overpowered by family affections or other sentiments. In Ramayana, if you see, it is described in the very first Balakanda that the king uh, the father of uh, Lord Ramachandra, had Dashrath Maharaj had 8 ministers. Sumantra was the chief of those 8 ministers. Apart from Sumantra, there were 7 more ministers, and it is described there that all these ministers they used to give timely, proper advice to Dashrath Maharaj, and these ministers could not be allured by anyone. No one could purchase their them with money or any other allurements. They were people of strong character. Now, these are the qualifications of a good minister who is supposed to give counsel and advice to the king. Because the activities, the decisions taken by the king affect not just 1 or 2 people, these decisions affect the whole kingdom, the life of so many people in the kingdom. That is why the king has to be very alert and he has to consult with the ministers and then only arrive at any decision. Before Dashrath Maharaj announced that he wants to make Lord Ramachandra as the king of Ayodhya, he actually called for these ministers. Before that, he had actually sent spies all over the kingdom to find out what is the public opinion about Lord Rama. And then he consolidated all this public opinion and then presented in front of the ministers. And he sought the advice of these ministers. So this is the public opinion, and this is my desire that I want to make my eldest son Rama as the king of Ayodhya. I have actually become very old and I want to hand over these responsibilities to Rama. What do you all feel? Please give your opinion, he asked. The king did not impose his decision on the ministers. He consulted with them, and each of those ministers they had many, many things to say. And Dashrath Maharaj patiently heard all of them. And of course, all of them unanimously agreed that Rama is quite fit to be the next king of Ayodhya. So the point here is one should not make decisions in haste, overpowered by anger or jealousy or hatred or fear. Hmm? One should not make decisions based on these emotions. Uh, When you are in a fearful state, if you make a decision, you will regret. When you are in an angry mood and you make some decision, you will regret. So these emotions should not drive our decisions. Hmm? So, but somehow here Draupadi, because of her Vamaswabhava, because of her being gentle and mild in nature, she actually became very compassionate towards Ashwathama, even though she knew that Ashwathama was the murderer of her 5 sons. Another important point that Prabhupada mentions in the purport is one must have good discriminatory power to judge a thing on its merit, meritocracy. Don't go by what you feel or what another person feels. Go by the merit of the topic and make a decision. Hmm? That is very important. Srila Prabhupada also said this. Don't surrender your intelligence, but use your intelligence to surrender. That means surrendering to the spiritual master, surrendering to Krishna is such a big decision in one's life. Oh, I'm going to follow the instructions given by this person for the rest of my life. I'm going to dedicate my entire life to follow the instructions of this authority, this spiritual master. It's not a smart decision. So one should not take this kind of decisions being superstitious or being a blind follower. No, Prabhupada said, use your intelligence. So Prabhupada said, we are presenting the facts from the Vedic scriptures. We are presenting what the great acharyas have realized. We are presenting these things to you. And in front of you, you are seeing thousands of people have taken up this process of Krishna consciousness and they have made their life sublime. Now, use your intelligence and decide what you want to do. In fact, this is the same spirit with which Krishna presented the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. After speaking the entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna told Arjuna, Yathechasi tatha kuru. Now I have told everything. You please contemplate on what I have spoken and you decide what you want to do. You see? So we must never lose our discriminatory power in the name of being uh, being a devotee or being uh, a mild, gentle person. No, that should not be the thing. Based on the merit of the topic, we must arrive at the right decision. We should not be sentimentalists, right? So here it is said, we should not follow the mild nature of a woman and thereby accept that which is not genuine. Hmm? That which is not genuine, we should not accept. So before accepting a guru, one must know what real guru is. Hmm? We should not accept somebody as a guru just because of sentiments or just because of public opinion. Oh, on the social media, this particular guru has a lot of followers. Oh, maybe he's a genuine guru. Yes, because he has millions of followers, therefore I will also follow. This should not be the way. One must go to the scriptures and study what are the qualifications of a bona fide spiritual master. Samitpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam, the Upanishad mentions. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta, Jignasuhu Shreya Uttamam. So, in order to understand the transcendental knowledge, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master and he must be Shrotriyam. That means he must be coming in a bona fide parampara system. One cannot become a guru by self proclaiming that I have become guru now. He must be Shrotriyam. That means he must have heard the conclusions of all the scriptures from his spiritual master. And he must be Brahmanishtam. He must be firmly fixed up in the process of devotional service by his personal example. He must be fully situated without doubt. 24 bar 7, he must be engaged in the service of the Lord. These are all the qualifications of a bona fide spiritual master. So, simply because somebody is a popular figure in the social media and somebody has a big number of followers, therefore we should accept. No, this is called sentimentalism. So, Prabhupada is saying we should always judge a thing based on its merit, not because of sentiments or any other thing. So here Draupadi's judgment about Ashwathama is not based on merit, it is based on sentiments. We will get to know why in the coming verses. We will see that. Text 43. Uvacha chaha santyasya bandhananayanam sati mucyatam esha brahmano nitaram guruhu. Translation and purport by Vishwaguru Srila Prabhupada. Translation. She could not tolerate Ashwathama's being bound by ropes, and being a devoted lady, she said, release him, for he is a brāhmaṇa, our spiritual master. Purport. As soon as Ashwathama was brought before Draupadi, she thought it intolerable that a brāhmana should be arrested like a culprit and brought before her in that condition, especially when the Brahmana happened to be a teacher's son. Arjuna arrested Ashwathama knowing perfectly well that he was the son of Dronacharya. Krishna also knew him to be so, but both of them condemned the murderer without consideration of his being the son of a Brahmana. According to revealed scriptures, a teacher or spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or spiritual master. A guru is also called an acharya, or a person who has personally assimilated all the essence of script shastras and has helped his disciples to adopt the ways. Ashwathama failed to discharge the duties of a brāhmaṇa or teacher, and therefore he was liable to be rejected from the exalted position of a brāhmaṇa. On this consideration, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna were right in condemning Ashwathama. But to a good lady like Draupadi, the matter was considered not from the angle of Shastric vision, but as a matter of custom. By custom, Ashwathama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. It was so because generally the people accept the son of a Brahmana as a real Brahmana by sentiment only. Factually, the matter is different. A Brahmana is accepted on the merit of qualification and not on the merit of simply being the son of a Brahmana. But in spite of all this, Draupadi desired that Ashwathama be at once released, and it was all the same a good sentiment for her. This means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sorts of tribulation personally, but still such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. These are the characteristics of one who is a pure devotee of the Lord. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport. So here, Ashwath, what is Draupadi's response? It's further explained here in the shloka. Uvacha, she said, what she said, asahanti asya, asahanti, she was not able to tolerate what she saw. What she saw? Asya bandhana, his being bound with ropes. Ashwathama's being bound with ropes. Draupadi was not able to tolerate that. Anayanam sati, anayanam, bringing him like that in front of her. Sati, she was a devoted wife. What did she say? Muchyatam, muchyatam. Just get him released. Don't bind him like this. Please release him from the bondage. Muchyatam, muchyatam. Yeshaha, this Brahmanaha, he is a Brahmana. Nitaram Guruhu, he is our teacher. He is our teacher, he is our spiritual master. He is a Brahmana, please release him. This is what Draupadi said. So, how do we understand this? Prabhupada is mentioning here in the purport. Ashwathama was definitely not the spiritual master. Just because he was the son of Dronacharya, he should not be treated like a Brahmana even because of his heinous act of killing innocent boys when they were sleeping. So, that means Draupadi, her point of view is different from the points of view of Arjuna and Krishna. Both Arjuna and Krishna agreed that Ashwathama is a condemnable person and he must be punished. Of course, there was a difference in opinion between the Lord and Arjuna. Lord said immediately you kill him, but Arjuna was somehow not ready to kill him immediately. So he binds him with ropes and brought him in front of Draupadi. But then Draupadi, she is considering Ashwathama as a teacher, as a spiritual master. Why? Because only for one reason, that he is the son of our Guru Dronacharya, who has taught you military science. Just for this one reason. So, from the point of view of, as we read in the previous purport, we must judge a thing based on its merit. So there the merit test fails here with Draupadi's judgment. She's saying, please release him immediately. He's our Guru, like that. So Prabhupada says in the purport, according to revealed scriptures, a teacher or spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of guru or spiritual master. Hmm? That means, let's say someone has accepted a guru out of sentiments or just because it is a tradition in their family to accept someone as a guru, he or she has accepted. But after understanding the actual qualifications of a bona fide spiritual master, when one finds that the person whom I have accepted as guru is not complying with these standards mentioned in the Vedic scriptures, then at once such a non bona fide guru has to be rejected. This is what the scriptures say. And it is not a sin on the part of the disciple to do so. Because ultimately, the spiritual master must conduct himself according to the standards given in the scriptures. For example, if a teacher in a university, teacher or a professor, is supposed to teach a particular subject and he or she is supposed to comply with the syllabus prescribed by the university and teach and prepare the students for the upcoming exam. But instead of teaching what is there in the prescribed syllabus, if the professor or teacher starts teaching something else, which is not at all in line with the syllabus prescribed, then such a teacher at once has to be rejected. This is the whole point, right? So, one such example we find in the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Tomorrow is Vamana Jayanti, the appearance day of Lord Krishna's dwarf incarnation, Vamana Deva. So, Vamana Deva came to the arena of Bali Maharaj, where he was performing yajnas on the guidance, as per the guidance of Shukracharya. Shukracharya was the teacher, the spiritual master of the demons. So, Bali Maharaj, even though he was a pure devotee of the Lord, but he was obliged to follow the instructions of Shukracharya because Shukracharya had used his Sanjeevani mantra to revive Bali Maharaj back to life when he was killed in a battle against the Devatas. So, this was the obligation. So, therefore, he listened to whatever Shukracharya said. So, when Lord Vamana came to the sacrificial arena of Bali Maharaj and begged for 3 paces of land, at once Bali Maharaj was ready to offer that charity to the Lord. But Shukracharya called Bali Maharaj to the side and he said, please don't do such a blunder because this boy who appears to be a dwarf Brahmana is the Supreme Lord Vishnu himself. And he has come here being requested by the Devatas. And on the plea of taking 3 paces of land from you, he will take away everything that you have and you will become a pauper in a moment. Don't give this to, don't give this charity to Vamana. But already Bali Maharaj had made a sankalpa. He was almost ready to offer the charity. At that time, Shukracharya calls and warns him like this. So at that time, what Bali Maharaj did is something very, very revolutionary. Bali Maharaj said, if what you are saying is true, that the Supreme Lord Vishnu himself has come to my doorstep and he is asking something from me, then it is my duty at once to surrender everything that I have got to the Supreme Lord. Because everything belongs to him only. So, you being a guru, you are supposed to guide me to for my ultimate benefit. And the ultimate benefit of every jiva is to surrender to the Supreme Lord. And now an opportunity has come for me, without seeking for it, to surrender to the Lord. And you are telling me, don't surrender to the Lord. What kind of a guru you are? So at once, Bali Maharaj rejected the instructions given by the Guru. Rejecting the instructions of the Guru means rejecting the Guru. So he said, I don't want to follow your instructions anymore. You are no more my Guru. Now, Bali Maharaj is a Mahajana. Now, somebody may say, how can such a Mahajana, a great authority, reject his own Guru? Actually, Bali Maharaj is following this instruction in the revealed scriptures that Prabhupada is writing in the purport. A teacher or a spiritual master is liable to be rejected if he proves himself unworthy of the position of a guru or spiritual master. Guru is supposed to teach how to surrender to Govinda, but Guru himself is telling don't surrender to Govinda. What kind of Guru he is? He is not a Guru, he is a bogus Guru. Therefore, Bali Maharaj rejected this Shukracharya and went ahead and gave charity to Lord Vamana Deva. So, if you consider this situation and as an example, Draupadi, out of sentiments, she should not have considered Ashwathama to be their guru just because he happens to be the son of Dronacharya. So, this is not the correct understanding. But then, so here Prabhupada writes in the purport, the matter was considered not from the angle of Shastric vision, but as a matter of custom. You see, many people say it is our tradition in our family to do like this. But there will be no bona fide scriptural reference. Shastric reference will not be there. Why you are doing it? Because everybody were doing in our family. Our forefathers were doing like this. Therefore, we are also doing like this. Is there any authoritative evidence for what you are doing? No, I don't know. Don't ask me all such things. It is our tradition, so we are doing. So one should not consider things just because it is a custom or a tradition. In fact, one can question such customs or traditions which are not based on the Shastras. This is very important. One such example, Krishna himself shows in his Govardhan Leela. When Nanda Maharaj and all the residents of Vrindavan were preparing for Indra Puja, Krishna was just a 7-year-old boy that time. Krishna goes and out of childish, it appears that it is a childish curiosity. Krishna goes and asks Nanda Maharaj, what is this puja, yajna that you are all preparing for? So Nanda Maharaj says it is Indra yajna. Indra gives us rain, and it is because of the rain that our prosperity is depending. So therefore we have to please Indra. And if we don't please Indra by this sacrifice, he will become angry and he will not give us timely rain. This was the explanation offered by Nanda Maharaj. Now, for which Krishna said, no, what is the use of worshipping Indra? Indra is merely doing his duty. He is appointed by the Spirit, by the Supreme Lord to take care of supplying rains, and he is doing his duty. For this, why should we worship him and perform one yajna? It is not required, my dear father. And Krishna, talks to all the residents of Vrindavan, and he says, our real prosperity is from the cows. It is from the blessings of the brāhmaṇas. And it is from the Govardhan hill, which is supplying us both water and grasses for our cows. So if at all we have to worship, why don't we worship our cows and brāhmanas and the Govardhan hill? So Krishna, he wanted to actually curb the pride of Indra. Therefore, he spoke like this. But the point here is, uh, the main point that Nanda Maharaj said is, we have been doing this Indra Puja for many generations. It is more or less a tradition that we are doing. It was not based on scriptures. It was simply a tradition. And the idea was, oh, if we don't please him, then he will become angry and he will create problems for us. He will not give us rain. That means, what is driving the puja, Indra puja? The fear of the wrath of Indra. It is not the knowledge from scriptures that is behind the Indra Puja. It is the fear that Indra will become angry and he will punish us. And it is a tradition we have been doing from many generations, therefore we have to do. So immediately Krishna intervenes and he condemns this kind of a blind following of tradition. He says it must be based on the scriptures. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Yashastra vidhim utsrujya vartate kamakarataha nasa siddhim avapnoti na shantim na param gatim. Krishna says, if one gives up the instructions of the scriptures and simply acts whimsically based on one's own mind, mental concoction, then nasa siddhim avapnoti, one will not attain siddhi, perfection, na shantim, one will not attain peace, na param gatim, one will not attain the supreme destination. Three things one will not attain if one does not consult with the scriptures, the shastras, and act, but act whimsically. So one must attain siddhi, shanti, param gatim. If one wants all this, Krishna recommends that one must follow the scriptural instructions. So Prabhupada writes here, Draupadi's consideration was not from the angle of shastric vision, but as a matter of custom. What is a custom? By custom, Ashwathama was offered the same respect as offered to his father. That means customarily people accept that son of a brāhmaṇa is also a brāhmaṇa. So this kind of a sentimental acceptance is not right. A brāhmana is accepted on the merit of qualification and not on the merit of simply being the son of a brāhmana, Prabhupada writes. But one point at the end of the purport, Prabhupada writes, very interesting. Why is Draupadi becoming so compassionate at Ashwathama, the killer of her own sons? So Prabhupada is writing, in spite of all this, Draupadi desired that Ashwathama be at once released, and it was all the same a good sentiment for her. So it was sentiment only. But then, another important point that Prabhupada mentions here is, this means that a devotee of the Lord can tolerate all sorts of tribulation personally, but still such devotees are never unkind to others, even to the enemy. So Draupadi, from this we are understanding her personality as a devotee of the Lord. She is ready to forgive Ashwathama, even though he has done such a wrong thing of killing her sons. She is ready to forgive. Why? Because she is a devotee. A devotee is ready to tolerate all personal tribulations. Then why didn't Draupadi forgive Duryodhana and party? So there it was the question of dharma yuddha. But here it is a personal damage. Okay, my sons were killed by Ashwathama. Okay, I will forgive. So a devotee, in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, while instructing Mother Devahuti, Lord Kapila describes the qualities of a devotee, a pure devotee. He says, Titikshava Karunika, Suhrudam Sarvadehinam, Ajata Shatrava Shantaha, Sadhava Sadhubhushanam. These are the qualities of a devotee. Titikshavaha, he is very tolerant. Whenever somebody personally attacks a devotee, either verbally or by actions, a devotee tolerates. Titikshava. Karunikaha, he is very compassionate. Suhrudam Sarvadehinam, he considers everybody to be his friend. He is a well-wishing friend for everybody. Ajata Shatravaha, he never considers anybody to be his enemy. And Shantaha, he is very peaceful. Sadhavaha, he always follows the standard instructions of the scriptures. Sadhu Bhushanam, these are the ornaments of a devotee. Sadhavaha Sadhu Bhushanam. So, a devotee never protests when something is done against him, but he never tolerates when the Lord or his devotee is uh, is blasphemed. That is the quality of a devotee. So Arjuna also, if you read the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he said, okay, these people, Duryodhana and party, they are overcome by greed. So they are not understanding what is right and what is wrong. So they are ready to, they have assembled here on the battlefield. They're ready to kill all their relatives just to satisfy their greed. But we should not be like that, Krishna. We know properly. We should not be overcome by greed. Hmm? That means Arjuna is ready to let go all the personal humiliations that he and his brothers, his wife faced because of Duryodhana and party. That means a devotee does not, because of his being a devotee, he thinks that uh, I should not personally go and take revenge. This revengeful mentality is not at all there in the dictionary of a devotee. Oh, that day this person spoke to me like this. I will be waiting for an opportunity when I will give back to him. That means our heart, you're renting out the space of your heart to keep some grudge against somebody. And you're also chanting Hare Krishna, oh Lord, please come and reside in my heart. You've already rented out so much space for grudge, anger, taking revenge against others. And in one of the spaces, you're also telling Krishna, come and stay. Why will Krishna come and stay? So, a devotee who is interested only in pleasing Krishna, he will never maintain any grudge against anybody because he knows then my heart becomes unsuitable for Krishna to come and reside. So, therefore, Draupadi's this specific response that let us not harm this, let us not punish this Ashwathama, please release him from the bondage. Prabhupada says these are the characteristics of a pure devotee of the Lord, right? So, one point we should understand when we are reading all this, we come up with so many ideas. Oh, what Arjuna did was correct. Oh, what Draupadi did is not correct. Now, we ourselves become judge and we say, oh, this is correct, this is not correct. Now, that's not the way we have to understand. We have to understand how Srila Prabhupada is explaining us. That is more important. So, Srila Prabhupada is giving two viewpoints here of Draupadi's behavior. One, he's saying that she did this out of sentiments. She did not consider the Shastric vision. Out of sentiments, she is doing. At the same time, Prabhupada is also giving us a transcendental angle. What is that? Because Draupadi is a devotee, her heart is filled with devotion for Krishna. She has no revengeful mentality. Therefore, she is ready to let go the murderer of her sons. And Prabhupada is saying this is the way of a pure devotee. Prabhupada is saying both. He's saying we should judge any situation not by sentiments, but by the merit of the topic. At the same time, Prabhupada is giving us a transcendental vision of this perspective of this whole thing by saying that Draupadi is a pure devotee and therefore she is not ready to take any action against Ashwathama. Right? So we will continue to read and discuss more. There are many interesting points that Draupadi comes up with. Draupadi gives about 5 reasons, 5 or 6 reasons. We will see that why we should not punish Ashwathama. And each of these reasons, arguments put forward by Draupadi, Prabhupada explains there are certain lessons for us to learn from this. So we will discuss about that in the coming sessions. So anyone has any questions or any comments before we close?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Sai Kishore. Yes.
Prabhu, actually, Shukracharya is a spiritual master. At the same time, he got rejected by his disciple. But spiritual master means he should be teaching according to shastras, right? And as we know that in the Vedas, essence is it always points towards the Supreme Lord ultimately. Shukracharya also should be knowing this goal of this Vedas also, right? But he always misguides the Asuric clan against Vishnu as a. So I just wanted to know more clarity on this group.
Yeah, good
How he
question.
could avoid that?
Yeah. So Shukracharya, he is the guru of the Asuras. Actually, there is a story mentioned in the scriptures where Shukracharya's mother was once giving protection to some demon, and that demon was supposed to be a very notorious demon, and he had created a lot of trouble for everybody, for the devatas, for the human beings, for all species of life. So Lord Vishnu had decided to kill that demon. But then that demon went and took shelter of this lady, the mother of Shukracharya. I forget the name of the people. So at that time, finally, without having any other option, the Supreme Lord had to take an action against that mother of Shukracharya, punish her. Now, this was not liked by Shukracharya, again, based on sentiments. Hmm. So, from that day, he thought that this Lord Vishnu, he considers himself so great. Now, he has actually punished my mother, mother sentiments. So, I will create people against Lord Vishnu to challenge his authority. This was the reason why he accepted the position of guiding the guru, of being a guru of the demons. So he saw these people, asuras, they're all driven by Rajoguna and Tamoguna, and these people are my right candidates. Easily I can turn them, I can guide them in such a way that they will all consider Lord Vishnu to be their staunch enemies. And that's how Shukracharya becomes the guru of the demons. So he wanted to settle his personal scores against Lord Vishnu. Therefore, he uses all these demons as his pawns against Lord Vishnu. But then it is not going against the plan of the Lord. We should not think that, oh, Shukracharya, that means even Lord Vishnu cannot do anything to Shukracharya. How is he able to do all this against the Lord? No. The idea is everything is happening according to the Lord's wish only. Just like the Devatas have a guru, Brihaspati, who will guide them. So it was also the Lord's plan that there should be somebody, an intelligent person, who will also guide these demons, uh, inst- bring them to one level of at least one level of civilized behavior. And the Lord does not mind if somebody is considering him to be his enemy. He doesn't mind. He is only worried when these demons create problems for his pure devotees. Then only he comes as different avatars and he kills them, or he actually establishes dharma. So, Shukracharya should have actually properly consulted the scriptures and he should have guided the demons, but he had another purpose behind. His purpose was different. He had a revengeful mentality against uh, Lord Vishnu. This is what we understand from studying some scriptures. But again, Lord Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, among the intelligent people, I am Shukracharya, like this Krishna says. So Shukracharya represents one of the opulences of Krishna. Uh, Ushana Kavihi. Kavihi. Kavi means a very intelligent, very learned person. In fact, just like Vidura Niti is very famous, Shukra Niti is also very famous in politics. So Shukra Niti, for example, says that Shatam Prati Shatyam Achare. If your enemy He is trying to cheat you, you cheat him back. This is called Shukraniti. It is not a straightforward politics. It is, a kind of crooked way of dealing with crooked people. That is Shukracharya's policy. So in that way, he is very intelligent. That intelligence is also an opulence of the Lord. He is invested by that intelligence given by the Lord, empowered by the Lord. So whether it is so finally it is all happening by the Lord's will only. We should not think that, oh, how is this Shukracharya? He's rebelling against the Lord, producing demon after demon against him. Is this all going out of control of the Lord? No, it is not. It is all within the plan of the Lord only. But this is how it is. But there is an instance mentioned in the Bhagavatam where the Shukracharya also he understands uh, uh, the position of the Supreme Lord. I think in the ninth canto, somewhere it is mentioned. Hope that answers your question, Sai Kishore.
Thank you, Prabhu.
So there is a history behind the Shukracharya's becoming the guru of the demons. Yes, next, who has any other question? Anyone has any
Yes, Prabhu.
comments?
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Okay,
Yes,
please go on, bro. Go on.
Hare Krishna, Ramakrishna. Yes,
Prabhu, Bali Maharaj had already, he had worshipped the Indraloka and everybody, and the Devatas, he had troubled a lot. And the Lord decided to spare him. Was it because that he had given the promise to Prahlad Maharaj that he will liberate 16 generations up and down?
yes. So Lord Narasimha Deva had promised to Prahlad Maharaj that he will not kill any of his descendants. That is why Bali Maharaj was not killed. He was only asked to go to the Sutala planet and live there. And of
Okay.
course, Bali Maharaj is a pure devotee. There's no question of killing him because he's a pure devotee. Why will the Lord kill a pure devotee? Because the Lord performed this Leela to glorify the position of Bali Maharaj. That how a devotee is ready to sacrifice everything, surrender completely to the Lord. Bali Maharaj is also one of the 12 Mahajanas, and he exemplifies the process of Atma Nivedanam, complete surrender to the Lord. And later on, Bali Maharaja's son Banasura, and when he also fights against Lord Krishna, it's there in the Krishna book, you can see fight between Banasura and Lord Krishna. There also, finally, Lord Krishna does not kill Banasura, he only cuts off the 1,000 extra hands of Banasura. And because he again tells there to Lord Shiva that I have promised Prahlad Maharaj that I will not kill any descendants in his family. So he does not kill, Krishna does not kill Banasura also.
Okay, Prabhu.
Good
Yeah.
point.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So any other
Hare Krishna.
comment?
Uh,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Ratnadeep. Hare
See,
Krishna.
Prabhu, I had one comment about Draupadi's different response to Dushasana and Ashwatthama. See, please
Okay.
correct me if my understanding is wrong. See, Dushasana had humiliated Draupadi in front of everybody, whereas Ashwatthama had killed her sons. So, as Krishna says in second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, that disrespect is worse than death. And
Yeah.
so that is why I think Draupadi considered Dushasana's offense to be much more severe compared to what Ashwatthama had done. And another perspective, what I am thinking, which we will see later, the Ashwatthama, though he was spared, but he was deprived of the jewel from his head. And see, today he is suffering like anything. So, in a way, Ashwatthama actually got much worse punishment than death because living life with a lot of insult, disrespect, with a lot of suffering, like his body is rotting like anything now. So
Yes.
that is much worse than death. So in this way, another way, another angle, we can see that Ashwatthama is suffering much worse had he been killed compared to that. So these are the two
Yeah.
things I was thinking, Prabhu. Please correct me if I
Yeah.
am wrong.
Good. Yeah. Very good points. Uh, but at the same time, A mother's pain when she loses her children is actually not a small pain. Mother, she has personally given birth to all those five sons. She is the mother of all those five Upapandavas. So when she saw her sons' heads are cut off overnight, do you think it's a small, pain for her to tolerate? It's not a small pain. uh. Sometimes women mm, can even forgo their personal self-respect, but they will not tolerate any harm against their children, isn't it? That is another perspective I'm saying. That is why Srila Prabhupada is saying that pure devotee is ready to tolerate any personal inconvenience. He or she, a pure devotee, will never try to uh, avenge the humiliation or the miseries that they have gone through. That is the quality of a pure devotee. That is what Prabhupada is saying. What you said is also a valid point, correct? But there's another point of view. It's not. We should not think that Draupadi's pain was any less than what she suffered in the open assembly when she was being disrobed by Dushasana. That pain and even this pain of losing uh, her children is not a small thing. But still, she is ready to forgive Ashwatthama. So, the Bhagavatam's main purpose of describing all these intricate things is to bring out the glory of pure devotional service. Uh, when one becomes a pure devotee of the Lord, the way he perceives injustice, the way he or she perceives humiliation, difficulties in life is totally different from what common people of the material world perceive them to be. One, by becoming a pure devotee, one transcends all the platform of revenge and giving it back and all of these things. So their point of view is totally different. That is what is highlighted here in this chapter. Is there any other uh, comment or question?
Was it also a test by the Lord to on Draupadi to see how much she can tolerate?
That is not mentioned, but it is definitely mentioned that Krishna tested Arjuna.
Okay, Prabhu. Yeah, yeah.
Krishna tested Arjuna, that we have seen. Let us see in the coming verses. Um Possible, as we saw in one of the purports yesterday, pure devotees are always tested by the Lord to glorify their position in front of the whole world. So possible, possible.
Okay, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
So I think there are no more questions or comments. Thank you for your valuable time. Yes, yes, someone has something.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, where do these emotions stay? They like at mind level and intelligence level, and how? What is the hierarchy? If you see like mind, intelligence, and soul, where do these emotions will fit in?
Yeah, Venkatesh, Hare Krishna. Emotions are all part of the mind. The mind has thoughts, it has emotions and feelings. All these are part of the mind, and the mind is inferior to the intelligence. First comes the senses. Above the sense is the mind. Above the senses is the intelligence. Above the mind is the intelligence. So intelligence is supposed to give us the power to discriminate what is right and what is wrong. This discrimination is not there on the mental platform, because mind merely goes by feelings, what is good and bad. Mind goes by emotions. Therefore, to counterbalance the emotions of the mind, one needs a stronger intelligence. So, intelligence is superior to the mind, and emotions are with the mind.
Okay,
Hope that
thank you.
answers your question. Okay, thank you very much for your valuable time. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। विश्व गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्ण।